the entertainment highlight of the week.
Red Ray Gun Limited presents
The Benji and Nick Show.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good day.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good weather.
Good tidings.
Good gravy.
Good goodness.
Loch Ness.
And
for those listening as well, if you could have seen, Nick was really trying to win that time because he even had his eyes closed. He was trying to not get distracted, and it backfired massively.
Totally. That was the Loch Ness game. It's not a game, and it's not about Loch Ness.
But this is the Benji and Nick Show, the #1 podcast for cult television all over the world. That's right, we talk about TV from the past, things you might remember, things you might want to forget, and just things you've never heard of. I'm not Nick.
And I'm not Benji. Today we're doing a thing. Yeah.
We are.
I'm not very well, I have to confess. I didn't confess it in the Big Finish podcast, but I'm not well. Don't worry, I've not got anything terrible. Planet of the Daleks Part 4 commentary. That's what we're doing. Doctor Who 1973, starring John Pertwee and Katie Manning and Bernard Horsfall and Roy Skelton and Michael Wisher.
Prentice Hancock. That was a good Michael Wisher. Yes, I would do it. Fantastic.
I knew Michael. Also, Jamie Anderson will be turning up for no good reason, but his dad was Jerry Anderson, so that's, I suppose, a good enough reason. We probably won't even mention that. Don't mention it.
I thought you were going to say, but of course his dad was in Planet of the Daleks Part 4. And I was thinking, what? No, he wasn't.
He was lurking in the background going, more rubbish.
More rubbish. I could do those trees better.
Bloody Doctor Who rubbish.
So in a moment,
yes.
We'll send your emails. We'll read your emails out. Sorry,
we're not going to send
to
them.
podcast.
Send your emails in. We'll send them to someone else.
We'll send them
to the General Post Office.
Well, it's a sort of thing. We'll just send them to Jane Hannigan at hotmail.com, whoever that is. No, don't do it. There probably is a real person.
There's bound to be.
But yeah, so we'll read out your emails sent to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com.
Yes.
And looking into the answers you gave to our very serious podcast questions.
Indeed, but first, the Benji and Nick Show is proud to be sponsored by The Village Shop, the online e-store run by the Unmutual website, and Coit Media Limited, your one-stop shop for all things Prisoner, Danger Man and Patrick McGowan, including DVDs, Blu-rays, books, CDs, audio dramas, clothing, photos, homeware and gifts. New items are added weekly. Benji and Nick Show listeners can enjoy a 10% discount on all purchases by using the code LOCHNESS10. That's LOCHNESS10. No spaces, capital letters for the letters, and use that at the checkout. A further donation will also be made to Hope House Children's Hospice at no cost to you, which is brilliant. The address to go to is www.theprisonershop.co.uk. Let's have a look and recommend something from there.
There's a big one on here in the used items section this week. It's a momentously good item, and it's a book actually. It's a book. Portmeirion, The Place and Its Meaning, a book signed by Clough Williams Ellis, the man who had it built. Yeah. Who built the whole place. Yeah, so you can actually get your piece of history there with a signed book. Well, come on, that's a pretty big one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a new offer, by the way. It's not a new offer. We've had it for the last few weeks. If you use the code YOUOLDFOOL, all capital letters and no spaces, you can enjoy 40% discount on the 550-page book, The Callan File, the definitive guide to the classic TV series. I thought my wife was knocking the shed window then. I think she's just gone off to pick up my son from school. It's written by Robert Fairclough and Mike Kenwood, not my son's school, the book, The Callan Files.
Not to be confused with Len Fairclough, the late husband of Rita in Coronation Street.
Yeah, let's just remove that confusion right now.
Yeah,
you might also like to go and have a look at nicholasbriggs.com. See if there's anything you fancy buying there. We won't have a look. He's having a look.
It's already up now. It's already there.
Well, thank you, folks. I think someone else bought something this morning, actually, Steph said to me. And I said, blimey, I haven't even recorded the podcast yet. I haven't even done my passive-aggressive begging. Please buy something from my website.
Please. Well, you can get some great old e-plays on there, actually, as well, which is quite cool.
Oh, yeah, I've written a couple of plays, haven't I?
Fab Sherlock Holmes adventures. You can have The Hound of the Baskervilles on there. I mean, what more do you want?
I've written an adaptation of that, yeah.
And it's basically set in the future, and the hounds, they're actually giant snakes. And Sherlock Holmes is actually a goldfish named Brian Holmes.
That's correct. Yes.
No, that's not.
What it's about.
It's not.
There's Jekyll and Hyde as well.
Jekyll and Hyde. Yes, there is.
Yes, which I've yet to finish the adaptation for BigFinish.com, which people keep nagging me about, quite rightly. Shall I start reading the first email?
Oh, I think you should.
It's from Rick Davey.
Hey.
But because of the method by which he sent it, I don't have any of the details of when he sent it or anything like that. Dear Benji and Nick, hope you're both keeping well this week. Here's the answers to this week's 7 questions, the ones we asked last week. 1. Gatherer or collector? For the Sunmakers. Collector. Great eyebrow work. He was a superb comedy villain in Steptoe and Son, which I think you mentioned. I don't think we did, actually. Did we? Or maybe we did.
I think we did, yeah.
You looked up his credits, maybe.
I bought the Steptoe and Son box set, actually, the other day. There we go.
One of the things, an obscure factoid about Steptoe and Son is that there is, in Carry On Screaming, which also starred Harry H. Corbett, who's the star of Steptoe and Son, there's a bit in that where the music mimics the Steptoe and Son theme.
Classic.
Just as his carriage is pulling out, it goes dun 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 dun, just for a moment, which was a little.
And he's there thinking to himself, oh, "I can't do anything. Can't do anything."
Well, he wouldn't have known about it, of course. And now, question 2 is LOM or A2A. What does that mean?
Life on Mars or Ashes to Ashes.
Oh, right, thank you. Life on Mars, he says, whilst Ashes to Ashes was worth watching for Keeley Hawes alone, so much of the point of Life on Mars was centred around John Sims' character and his struggles with not only dealing with 1973, but with what was happening to him. Once Sam's story was completed, it just didn't feel the same afterwards. Nice spin-off and a lot of fun, but it was nowhere near as powerful. I've still not got to the end of Life on Mars series 2. I just watched some of it over lunch, so yeah, really enjoying it. I'm up to episode 7 now. Is it 8 episodes per series?
Possibly.
Possibly, who knows? Question 3, TPTV or network? Oh, Talking Pictures TV. What is it with the acronyms, Rick? Why can't you actually be bothered to type anything out properly?
Yeah, all
You're
of
a slacker.
all of his words here are just letters, aren't they?
I'm having to guess what he's saying. Network, as their restoration work is totally invaluable, although I love Talking Pictures TV as well, obviously. Yeah, they don't do any restoration, actually. They just whack on any old nonsense. However, neither will exist if you keep encouraging the use of bloody BritBox, which he hates, of course, because he thinks it's a rip-off. 4, the thing Gunge. Do you remember the 90s? Do you remember in the 90s there was a thing about Gunge being used constantly on TV? Why don't we see more Gunge now?
Dave Benson Phillips, wasn't it? Get Your Own Back. The absolute king of Gunge he was.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was a television program where kids could get their own back on their parents or their teachers, and if the kids won it, then basically they get to gunge their parents or head teacher. It was brilliant. They're up at the top of a slide and then they fly down into a big pool of guns. It's brilliant.
What was the programme called?
Get Your Own Back.
Oh, it was actually called Get Your Own Back.
Get Your Own Back, yeah.
I don't know. I'm wrong generation for that, mate. You'd have to be a kid at the time, and I was not a kid in the 90s, unlike you, dear boy. So I was asking people whether they should choose the gunge of the 1980, the thing? Mm-hmm. 1980 something. I don't know, yeah. 1981 possibly, was it? I don't know. I see Benji's just not even listening to me.
I can look it up if you want.
He's giggling to himself. Just Briggs is all adrift there.
1982.
1982. I was nearly. Or the original one, which was produced by Howard Hawks. Harrod. Hark the Harrods. Shut up. 5, post, van or truck. Talking about the Dalek invasion of Earth or Dalek invasion of the 2158. Oh, the post van is much more charming. I think you agree with that, don't you, Benji?
I love the little post van.
Me too. Yeah, the truck is just a bin van, isn't it? And it's no good.
Cruddy old thing.
Please, can you both say somewhere in the vicinity of Sloane Square?
Yes, somewhere in the vicinity of Sloane Square.
That was us talking in a Peter Cushing style. somewhere in the vicinity of Sloane Square. Square.
Yeah, square, isn't it? It's like Bedfordshire.
Square.
And
Bedfordshire. 6, Catweasel's favourite food. Please adopt Baildon voice. Bananas.
Bananas. I like to eat bananas.
He does in the first episode, doesn't he?
Bananas.
I love it. Catweasel, of course, on Talking Pictures TV at the moment, I believe.
Yeah. Benji's hat. Benji's hat is whatever colour you want it to be, for he only exists only in our imagination. What Benji
true.
does.
It's true. I'm actually.
I just imagined you.
Yeah, I don't actually exist. I'm
Well, you are too perfect to exist. No wonder I've imagined you.
like shortbread biscuits.
I told you the
Thank you.
pathetically moving story I told at my wedding, didn't I? My groom's speech
Go
about
on, then.
my wife. And I broke down when I told it, because at some point leading up to us getting married, there was one morning when I woke up very early in the morning, and I looked across the bed and she wasn't there. And in that early morning thing where I was only half awake, I thought, of course, it's just a dream. I just imagined her. she's too good to be true. And I just lay there in sort of a kind of semi-conscious, really depressed, sad state, thinking, God, that would have been great if that had been real. And then she came back from the loo. The loo flushed and she came into the room, and I just thought, oh my God, it is true. It's real. It was a horrible moment where I thought I'd just imagined it all. Anyway, there we are. I managed not to cry telling that pathetic story. Interesting journey into the world of failed soaps on the podcast last week. Please don't do it again.
Well, I'm afraid you're in the wrong place, because this is the Failed Soaps podcast. Next week, what was that one called? The something markets?
Albion Market, someone mentions later.
It, yeah.
I think someone mentions that, or if they haven't mentioned it this time, we'll make sure it's in next one.
Psychic.
Much love to you both, and don't forget, folks, the Benji and Nick show. Every little helps. Rick. Thanks, Rick.
Oh, cheers for Messi and Rick. Missing you. It's been ages since we've seen you. Can't wait for this to be over.
He was
We'll have a
due
nice
to
old
visit
beer.
me. Yeah, he was going to visit me, and then lockdown happened.
Classic. Good old pandemic ruining everything again. We've got one here from Neil Allen. The subject of this one is a couple of questions I hope you can help me with.
Right.
Sent on the 9th of the 6th, 2020, in the year of our Lord 1500. Very precise. Very precise. Hi guys, thanks for giving my Sunday a great start with all your cult TV goodies.
You're very welcome, Neil.
I've not set any questions this week, so I was wondering if I could ask you 2 questions, one serious, one
Are we saying we
lesser.
haven't set any questions?
Oh, because we're fools, that's why. Nick, have you always been interested in writing, even at a young age? Did you write Doctor Who stories when you were a kid? I've been rereading some of the Doctor Who New Adventures books recently. I read them all when they came out in the 90s. Some are still good, some less so. I wonder if you ever consider writing for that series, or maybe the Doctor Who Missing Adventures.
Okay. Well, yeah, I did start writing at a very, very young age. I had no concept that I would ever do it for a living, of course, but it used to be a fun thing to do. Have I not told you, Benji? Benji's got a selection of beverages now. I'm quite generous, I was going to say.
I was just drinking the orange squash. And then I realised I had half a cup of tea, and I was really excited. I thought,
It's the way you were sort of looking around. I wonder what I should have next.
It's because you can't see them as well, so you just see me.
Drinks come out. I'm expecting a huge bottle of milk or a coconut with a straw in it.
Massive cocktail. A keg.
Yeah, all of the above, frankly. I'm expecting it.
Marvellous.
Wouldn't that be good? Yeah, so no, I used to come home from school when I was very, very young and say, this evening I'm going to write a book. And so I'd have a tray across the chair. Oh, Jamie Anderson's told me he's free now. That was a ping from him, I think. And I would take several sheets of paper, fold them in half, staple them, and then I'd draw the cover, and then I'd go through the book, and I'd write, and I'd do it like a proper old-fashioned book, by having a couple of blank pages and
That's
thing with
great.
title and cover, and then I'd write the story, and it would have to fit however many pages I had. So sometimes the ending, sort of the story really slowed down because I couldn't think of anything else. So I'd go, oh yeah, and then they went down the road, and there was some trees, and and I think I'll draw a picture of a tree here, or I didn't have enough room, so quickly everything blew up and they all died. And they would mostly be war stories, actually, not science fiction. So yeah, at a very early age I was I was very excited about those 90s Doctor Who New Adventures books when they came out, and I thought, oh, this is like Doctor Who again. I can write. And so I started writing an idea, and I read Exodus by Terence Dicks and really enjoyed it. Then I started reading whatever was the next one, and no disrespect to whoever wrote it, I absolutely hated it. And I thought, oh God, if they're going to be like this, then they've got no place for the kind of story I want to write. And so I gave up, really. And then, of course, there were massively more prolific people than me who got their foot in the door straight away. And I felt sort of left behind and left out, really. Is anyone playing a very small violin for me?
Yeah, they're interesting. Some of them are good and some of them aren't. I think the stuff in them is, there's so many weird little things in there which, if you take into account canon,
what, the detective series?
There's just some Callan. There's just some
Cannon. Do you remember the American one, Cannon, the big fat bald guy? Cannon, a Quinn Martin production.
Oh my god, never seen it.
You got to YouTube it, Cannon. I can't believe you don't know Cannon. I think it predated Kojak.
Here we go. Starring William Conrad.
You see, I even remember his name.
Oh, Alex Rocco.
It was so popular that it was in the comic TV action, which featured a Doctor Who strip and UFO and everything, and Cannon was in there as well.
That's crazy. I love the fact that all these things sort of end up, and like something like Canon ends up having its own comic entry.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? And it was done for a British comic as well. They were not American strips.
That's crazy, really, when you think about it. It's the world, isn't it?
What's in the rest of this blooming email?
I've been rewatching the first Dalek serial.
Oh.
I think what I like most is how the Daleks aren't all powerful, but are rather pathetic, trapped creatures inside the casings, are totally dependent on their technology.
Yeah.
Anyhow, in that series, the Daleks lock up both the Doctor and his companions. But
Yes.
it's never explained if they provide toilet facilities for the Doctor, Susan, Ian and Barbara. Do you think that once a day a Dalek turns up with a special attachment to clean up after them, a bit like you do after a hamster or a cat tray? Or maybe in a deleted scene, Barbara says, "Doctor, I've not been to the toilet for a few weeks. Is there something wrong?" Doctor says, No. I told you about that Time Lord gift I share with you, so you can understand alien languages. Well, it's not the only thing I'm sharing with you. Us Time Lords have evolved beyond the use of toilets. To which Barbara says, "Oh." Love the podcast. Kind regards, Neil. Yes, I suppose there must be some form of...
I don't think he was telling. I don't think he was telling people he was a Time Lord then. Because frankly, the people writing Doctor Who then thought he was a human. So there you go. Right up until the War Games, I had this conversation with Tom Spilsbury and Stephen Moffat Clang, where we were saying, "Come on, actually." Everyone wrote as if he was human. Even in Evil of the Daleks, they say you've become something more than human. So they thought he was human then as well.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Terence Dicks changed it all, you see.
See, there was something. What was it I was thinking about the other day? This is a pointless thing, but I sat down and really thought about it. How the Dalek designs are different. For the first story, you don't have the slats; you have the sort of bar round.
The first
them.
two stories.
First two stories, yes, you're right. But yet, in the origin story, Genesis of the Daleks, of course, you have the slats. So therefore, did they just, talking in a in-world perspective? Why don't they have the slats later on? Is it because they just thought...
It annoyed me at the time. I hated Genesis of the Daleks as a teenager. I thought, you've got it all wrong.
But then maybe they just didn't bother because there's no sun. It's a nuclear planet, isn't it? There's no. But then how? Yeah, there's no sun, so surely they wouldn't be able to move. Are they solar panels? I mean,
the people who made the show didn't care and didn't know. So
that's the truth.
That's actually what happened. So
that's the truth.
Try and explain it.
But I want to explain it, Nick. I want to.
Oh, well, you carry on. I'm just going to go for a walk.
Go do something else. Yes, it's called laziness. Everybody does it. We've got another one here, Nick.
So hold on. I just wanted to say I do favour the hamster theory about the.
Well, it's just a horrible
toilet.
Mess in there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Clean it out.
Oh God.
Soapland. Neil Hackney, sent on the 7th of June in the year 1515. Hello, chaps, and good gravy to you all. I salute you, Neil. Thank you. When Jamie suggested El Dorado, I was amazed when you accepted to do it. So was I. And you may now be wishing you hadn't. Correct. But it brought to mind another long lost soap, I should say, that I remember watching as a young lad, Albion Market. Do you remember it? Yes, I do. Do you remember it? No.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but I know it exists.
The haze of history and memory makes me think it wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was more like a drama, actually. This is probably wrong. It was set in a Salford market, but I don't think it lasted much more than one series. I think you're absolutely right there. It starred, amongst others, David Hardgreaves, who wrote into the Big Finish podcast this week, I think.
Yes.
But I'm thinking it was another David Hardgreaves, who I think was in Juliet Bravo a lot. Yes, I think so. That would be a great future podcast, especially the opening episode, Shotgun, which I remember well, as a dad stole his daughter away and ended up in a bit of a hostage scenario. Classic drama that takes me right back. Be seeing you, Neil Hackney. Yes, I've seen that fairly recently, that Juliet Bravo first episode, because my friends Nicholas Pegg and Barnaby Edwards recommended Juliet Bravo to me. But it's massively expensive to buy. I think we've touched on this before. Did you know that, Benji?
I think you can get it on the UK TV Play service, which I'm just going to double check. I think you can. Right,
because the DVDs of Juliet Bravo were in the... there were some riots back in the early 2000s, weren't there? And a couple of warehouses... Well, a lot of property was set on fire. And one of the things that got burnt to the ground was a warehouse that contained all the Juliet Bravo DVDs. So they're almost impossible to find. The first series is okay. I managed to buy that for sort of, I don't know, 20 quid or something. But the other series, it's all like
really
£90.
Isn't it? Yeah, blimey.
Yeah. Because you just can't find them anymore. So those who have got them know that they will go for a premium price.
I wonder if it's the same for something like Family at War, because that's massively expensive.
Yeah, it probably is. Interestingly, I bought a lot of Family at War before all that happened, so I gave it to my mum, actually.
I've never really sat down and properly watched Family at War. Yeah, but it's meant to be
you'll like it.
Isn't it.
It's like a soap. Yeah, you'll like it.
Right up my... It's not. Yeah, it's not on UK TV Play. No. Surprised it's not on BritBox. Really, you'd think that they would put a Juliet Bravo sort of
Absolutely.
thing on
I mean, it's extremely dated.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes. Well, shall we watch Planet of the Daleks?
Right. Ready when you are.
So, 3, 2, 1, and we press play. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
And we're off.
Yeah. Oh, and now on BBC One, Doctor Who, Planet of the Daleks, Episode 4.
And there is old Ron Pertwee.
Ron Pertwee.
Yeah, the old Ron Pertwee series, you know.
Well, already the title sequence picture of him is out of date, isn't it? Because his hair had got quite curly by now.
Yes, you'd think they would have sorted that out, really, but I suppose they just couldn't be bothered.
I think that's it. It's lifting. Now, there's hardly any recap on this episode, is there? Normally they go back far too far. And there we go.
Anything could be going on right there. They could be, they could have been on a ride. The Daleks there really putting their backs into trying to break that door down. Here we go.
It's polystyrene.
I love that it didn't even make a noise, like a proper ding. You want a big old...
Well, like old polystyrene, it just wafts to the ground, doesn't it?
God, if you take this into account when you look at the way the Daleks are moving, if you take into account that they're all drunk, it suddenly looks hilarious.
What, the Daleks are drunk?
Just watch them, because they move around a lot in this story, particularly, and they just all look drunk when you see them, because they're searching around, aren't they? How far have we come? His
What?
What? Oh, crikey.
Where? I can't see. Oh, yes. There we are.
I love that gun. Oh, I love that little thing that pokes out of it.
Yes, John Pertwee's so uninterested in Daleks that, yes, we are out of range. Anyone for a hard-boiled egg?
That's literally it's so true. I love the way the Daleks have a bunch of old rope down there or whatever. Or just them riding. It might be a Thal had it, but even then it's just a bit of bog stand of old rope, isn't it?
Yes, I don't know where they found the rope. I can't remember about the old episode. Which is the goon? There's one Dalek. The Dalek in the background is the one that's not moving. Yeah. Just staring at the camera.
It's just that weird sculpture behind them.
Yeah.
Which looks like a bit of tinfoil and cardboard.
I like the way those Daleks used to waggle their heads from side to side when they spoke.
I think this is probably one of my favourite stories for Daleks, just in general. I like the way they sound. I like the way they move around a bit more, and a bit of rickety floor there.
Just went over a cable.
It's so true, isn't it?
Is this when Joe does all her stuff with the bombs?
Yes,
yeah. And keeps ducking before they fall.
I thought she'd been whacked by a rock by this point, but clearly
not.
No,
it's coming up soon.
It's that wonderful map with a bit of paper.
Yeah. How the Daleks are reading it, I don't know. I've got hold of it, but it's now too far away for me to see, and facing
it's the wrong way around. Yeah, they won't see you there, Joe.
Don't worry, they won't see you because he's looking up in the air.
Look at that printed out bit of paper. Very impractical Daleks, really, aren't they, in terms of their rickety. These are just the most battered props. Nothing fits right.
No.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. They're in a dreadful state.
You think one of the Daleks to turn around and say, "Get a hold of yourself, man. Sort your dome out. You're giving us a bad name."
You could see the shadow of the stagehands chucking those rocks there.
I love it, though. Love it. Those are very good little bamboo plants there, aren't they?
It's a tiny little bush that she decides to walk through the middle of rather than just go round it. Look, right, this is Katie Manning anticipating being hit by a rock. She's like, "Oh, that's okay. I'm going to do this. Do it. Should I do it slowly?" She said to the director. "Yeah, why? It doesn't matter." Look, no. All right, here we go.
Last one.
She's so terrified. Look. She was dreading it, wasn't she?
Bless her.
Can I do another take? No, carry on.
That's it. Look at his Cuban heels there. Remarkable.
Yeah, you see, you were talking earlier before the podcast about him being a tall man. Maybe it was just the Cuban heels.
It's very positive. Oh no, there's a hole in the bag. We've all had that crisis at Tesco.
As a young fan... Well done. As a young fan, I remember thinking, oh, they don't need this anti-gravity disc. They can just use their transsolar disc, their hoverbouts from the Dalek annuals. That would have made my day if they got one of those. Oh, it's hard for him to get up there, isn't it? Oh,
crikey. I don't know how they managed to do that.
Now they just lift up the Dalek. A couple of stage hands.
It looks good, though. The lighting as well, I think that's great. Imagine oh god, that was knackering, wasn't it? Shaft. It's a wonderful way of saying
American
words.
detective. Shaft. Someone's got to do that. Pip Thingamy on Twitter's got to do that, hasn't he?
Dalek's going on about Shaft.
Have the Shaft theme tune, but every time they go Shaft, have Shaft from Roy Skelton. What's Pip's name? I've forgotten his surname. Madeley. Pip Madeley. I didn't say. I had that in my mind. I was thinking of Richard Madeley. I thought, I'm confusing two people.
I wish Richard Madeley can we get Richard Madeley to do a commentary with us on an episode of Doctor Who?
Yeah, so, this is Doctor Who, isn't it? I don't really know anything about it. So, I don't know why I'm watching it. I just don't,
You absolutely hit the nail on the head with the arm movements there.
Yeah.
There we go. Look, bang! It's like that scene from Threads. And there we go.
White out and a few bits of strewn props.
I used to love it though when you'd see all bits of the Daleks on the floor.
Yeah.
I reckon that a lot of those smashed up sections are from the smashed up Dalek from Day of the Daleks. Where the one that you see at some point in there all broken up.
I don't know the bit you're talking about.
You see just the Dalek skirt and it's all kind of smashed up and battered.
Is that when they've used a Dalekanian bomb or something? Yeah. It's going!
Yeah, the fight!
Hike!
Lucky there was a ladder there for the Daleks to use.
Yeah. Don't forget to put ladders in our shafts.
See, I love the actual design of that shaft at the back. It looks like real metal. It looks like a proper chunky thing.
Yeah, it probably is metal.
You think that they would have had a little funnel or something? It's all right. Just wait for the Dalek to get there, and then all you need to do is put your feet on its head. It'll take you up to the top.
Pathetic little ropes. They're like baby pretend ropes, aren't they?
The ones you can buy from like the hardware store.
That's right. I'll hold on to this rope with just 2 centimetres of rope, and I'll be able to pull up a fully grown man. Music's
great here, though.
I'll try mine. It might be 2 centimetres longer.
I think this was some of Dudley's... Oh, that's right, hang yourself. I think this is one of Dudley's most science fiction-y scores at this point.
Yeah.
It's very synthy.
So we assume it's on his foot, but they don't show that, do they?
It could be on anything. I'd rather not think about that, to be honest. Very rude.
Good Lord.
He's got hair like a sort of old lady when he's going up there.
Well, yeah, my mum always, and still has, white hair like that, and I always used to think she had John Pertwee's haircut.
You've got John What would you like today, love? Just John Pertwee's haircut. I love that shot of the Dalek there, because you don't really ever see them from above like that.
It's not a real one, though, is it? It's a model, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's a model, of course.
That's obviously a model there.
And that one coming up was a model. Isn't it weird? They built a model for this sequence that had a proper top to the Dalek, whereas the models they use for the... the big chamber scene where there's 20,000 of them or 10,000. They're those awful toys with the flat tops.
And the terrible necks.
Did you hear the smoke machine hissing?
Oh, look at that. Oh, this is the Dalek. Look at that. The painted Dalek. It's just dreadful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the one that the Doctor sprayed paint on. He's there going, I still can't see.
And he's got the wrong number of wrong number of neck discs. Not necks, eye discs.
Has he?
Yeah, 3 I think were there. 4.
Are you counting?
Maybe.
So then
she's there with their lunchbox.
There's just a little bit of dirt on the studio floor, but it's mostly a studio floor.
You see the join there between the plant. Joe!
Yeah. I don't know what. I've run out of lines.
What's that dangling thing in the corner? It's a piece of cotton.
So the Doctor saying, but you were dead. No, I wasn't. Yes, you were. They told me I'd be getting Elizabeth Sladen.
I'm just obsessing watching that little floating thing in the corner of the left-hand side now.
He's literally putting his thumbs over her mouth to stop her talking. I mean, talk about the patriarchy here.
She wanted to get his pocket.
Did you hear her improvised line? And then I got rescued by this bowl.
I love that bit so much.
That's not in the script, is it? That's clearly
100% Katie.
Yes, I want to talk about the bowl.
What are they eating? Some crackers or something?
It's
that's it. Have you got any more of those crackers?
Is it Milky Bar?
Yes. Yeah, it does look like a Milky Bar.
Yes, I mean this is a 6-part story, so we can afford to witter on about absolutely nothing.
Yeah, this is a bit of a pointless sort of scene. Oh no, now it's not. Actually.
It's the whole business about how he can't bear having her there because now
there's a risk.
Yes. I'd like to blame women for me being a less effective warrior. Is that all right by everyone in 1973? Yes, I think I can get away with that. However, in 2020, I would be lynched for saying this.
This is frowned upon.
I'm quite stupid because I'm a woman, is what the scriptwriter is saying.
Yes, it's very, very dated.
It's so patronising, isn't it?
Those suits, I can't work out.
I never thought about that. I was too busy making dinner all the time.
It is the 70s, I suppose, isn't it? That's genuinely how they thought. I can't work out if those suits are comfortable or uncomfortable.
They're probably very hot in the studio.
with the lights above them.
He's just told her the Daleks may win because of her. He's not very nice. She should dump him.
Bit manipulative there, to be honest.
Totally. Do you think that was her hair or a wig?
A bit of both. Extensions, maybe.
Oh. Are you a hairdresser?
I am. Yes, I am. I do only one haircut, and that's John Pertwee's white curls. There they are with their famous fire alarm on the wall.
I told you the thing about Harry Fowler in a series called Get This when they were talking about steam. It was a kids' magazine programme. And he said, steam can be used for many things, curling John Pertwee's hair, for example.
I think I've seen horrible, that clip before. Yes, it looks like something I wouldn't want for dinner.
It looks like something I've already had for dinner that came up for a second appearance.
I love Joe's shoulder pads. I think they're a work of genius.
Well ahead of their time, I think, you know. I remember actually there was a kid in our school who had little puffy shoulder pad things like that.
Did you ever think that's Joe Grant?
Yeah, obviously. That would have been in about 1975. And he was a very handsome lad that all the girls liked, and I was taking the mickey out of him. And so I got all the girls, when he came into our English lesson, to hold up their shoulders like this, you know, like, ooh, shoulder pads. And he came in, he said, Briggs, that's you. I won't use the actual words he used. So he and I then proceeded to have a mock fight. We were just messing around, and we were doing all kung fu nonsense, and all the girls were laughing. We were doing it for the benefit, to show off to the girls, you know. They were all shrieking with laughter. And then I picked up one of the desks and waved it around, and this guy Michael got hold of the end of it, and then I shook him off violently, and then he did this sort of dramatic writhe against the wall, you know, like he was in agony, and everyone was laughing. And then he turned around, put his hands down, and blood burst forth from his face. Oh my God. And I'd cut him just in the soft bit, just underneath the eyebrow. Yeah, just that little soft bit there. And I remember thinking at the time, it was like someone had punctured a bottle of orange squash, and it was just going.
Oh no!
Luckily, my mum was the medical person at the school. I mean, forget Planet of the Daleks. This is an important bit of autobiographical detail from me. So I took him straight to my mum and said, "Mum, I've hit him with a desk." And she said, "What have you done?" She said, I'm going to have to call a doctor or an ambulance or something. Anyway, he was all right. I mean, he was not, you know, he was a tough lad. And that evening, that afternoon, Mum was giving me a lift home, of course, from school. And as I got in the car, she was very quiet. And I said, did you have to tell his parents what happened? She said, yes, I did tell them. I had to. It's my job. And I went, oh, right. So I'm in trouble. I said, what did you tell him? His dad? She said, well, I told him the truth. And I said, well, what? That he hit his head on a desk. I didn't say that you were holding it at the time.
Ah, excellent.
And Michael was not the kind of boy to dob a fellow in, so I got away with that.
You got that one unscathed.
Terrible. Anyway, back to Planet of the Daleks.
The Desk Hitters. This is a new ITV series.
I think John Pertwee looks amazing there, doesn't he?
I think it's one of his most iconic. I think arguably his three iconic looks are this story, Death to the Daleks, and of course the Green Death.
What was he wearing in the Green Death?
Green.
Death. Huge scythe.
There's a good lighting on him there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Oh, that's great.
A night story, cheaters.
The artists for annuals and TV action clicking away with their cameras here to get lovely shots of him. You recognise them. If you've read those strips, you recognise the shots they've used.
Remember, yeah, I've got a copy.
They're 2 centimetres away.
I've got a copy of TV action somewhere, and it's definitely Day of the Daleks. It sort of snaps the same outfit. Yep,
totally. Oh, wow. It's how you get pregnant on Earth. And he goes, I'm pregnant now? Oh, my God.
This is the exact same bit as well, though, in The Daleks. This is that mid-section where they go back to the Thal camp and just talk about pointless things, isn't it, really? Before realising they have to go back again.
Have to go back. The Terry Nation have to go back.
That's it. That's how I say. Maybe a good way of sort of keeping this going for longer is if they all just go back again and we do the same thing, but maybe little bit more high stakes, like with a bomb or a disease or something, or a timer. Yes. Anything with a timer.
So, morning, Doctor. Should we go back and attack the city again? Yes, it's time to go back.
Yes,
after that, we'll go back.
We'll go back again.
And they go back. They go right down to the same place, don't they? Having been trapped in the subterranean levels, they decide to go back into the city and get trapped there. But that's not yet, folks, because we're going to the Plane of Stones.
The Plane of Stones.
The Plane of Stones.
It's got some great music when the creatures appear.
When you say creatures, do you mean pairs of Christmas lights?
Pairs of Christmas lights, bits of paper with cut-out eyes.
Oh, quick, here comes a blanket over the light.
And there's that sound effect from Meta Be This 3.
Yes. It was a man shouting, slow down.
Toilet flushing.
Could you rate the believability and realism of this set?
Yes, I can. It's 0. It's all polystyrene and literally just what looks like a sheet with some lighting put on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very grateful that my computer screen I'm watching this on has a lot of dust on it and finger marks, so I can't see all the details. So I'm getting a good view of it.
Interestingly, I was actually quite impressed. I was thinking this earlier. The quality of this is actually very high.
You were saying that about the Sunman last week.
Yeah, maybe I was. Maybe I was.
And this is where Codal gets it all completely wrong.
It all goes a bit pear-shaped.
He says, yeah, well, we should blow up the refrigeration unit. Because then the Daleks' salad would go off.
And they won't be able to have their milk with their tea, because it'll be off as well.
Hard-boiled egg, anyone?
Yeah. John, not now. Not again.
I just love the idea that John Pertwee's got lots of hard-boiled eggs in his velvet jacket pockets. He just keeps distributing them.
Just a terrible breath throughout.
Bit eggy.
Can you smell that? Oh, it's the doctor again. He's having another one of his eggs. Yeah,
have you ever had a pickled egg?
Well, I just don't like eggs really.
I love them.
Well, I can't stand them. In fact, I would say a hard-boiled egg and poached egg is one of the worst, especially hard-boiled egg, one of the worst smells in the history of the world. Oh, look, it's the fight from the Daleks. Yeah. Oh, for goodness sake.
Yes, I think that Terry Nation thought, I like these ideas. I wonder why I like them so much. Because you've had them before.
Many times
Oh, damn. But, who knew it was sort of 10 years later? Who was going to remember? No one was going to... What's a DVD? No one knew.
No, what's a book? Yeah. I would hesitate to kill you.
With my electric gun and its strange bit of toothbrush.
Oh, he doesn't like that, does he? He doesn't like that.
I'd stand further away, but there's no more set.
I'd go off, yeah. Just go off in the distance.
I'm going to stand by this rock rather awkwardly. There's nowhere to go. It's a bit like he's stormed out of the room but found he's in the broom cupboard by accident.
Yeah, and he's thinking, I can't go back out there now. I look like a right fool.
Oh, if only I knew where the jungle set was. Meanwhile, the curry has gone rancid.
Somebody's pooed in a tank. That lovely dry ice there. That other Dalek just in the background thinking, whatever. Oh, look, you can see somebody's... Is that Joe's head?
Where?
By the desk, if you look.
Whose head's that? Someone's moving around
Something's moving around, aren't they?
What is going on?
I've never noticed that before.
And again. The head keeps bobbing backwards and forwards.
What is going on? I've never noticed that before.
That was amazing. It's like I've just discovered a ghost or something. Is she there?
I don't know, but she wouldn't be moving around like that. No, because she's there. She's at the Plane of Stones, isn't she?
What's going on?
Who
was that? If you know who that was, he's had enough intimacy there. He let go of her hand like he was disgusted by it, didn't he? Who whispers with their hand like that? Hello. What's the point of whispering like that?
Bernard does, of course.
It's the Bernard whisper.
Bernard Whisper, the commentator for horse racing on BBC on Tuesday.
He's left a note. Hold on, this is foolscap.
Hold it a minute. None of us volunteered to go to the toilet with him. He doesn't need to write this message out.
What? So they've got little notepads in their spacesuits, have they? Just in case they need to leave notes saying, I've just gone off to mess up.
Like those little ones you get in Cluedo. Tiny little notepads. Maybe to do a few illustrations,
Yeah, it makes sense.
To write those little books that you used to write.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing in their spare time.
That's what it is.
All makes sense now.
Well, it looks pretty much like this is the slow episode.
All right, I've better got a minute and 30 seconds before it's all over.
Yes, in a moment we might speed it up with
Here's
some
the music.
That's a good shot. I love these creatures whose eyes open by just turning on lights.
Also, the creatures that you don't see in the daylight, presumably only at night. They come out at night, but yet they're afraid of the lights, but yet they're attracted to the light. So I don't quite know what's.
It's like it hasn't been thought through properly.
Yes, it's like he was too busy going to the pub and doing other things. Oh look, massive fur coats. What are they going to do? Eat him? Undress him?
Take him to the Daleks.
Oh, it's the end! Wow!
There we go.
Take him to the Daleks. Take him to the Daleks. They sort of remind me of Yetis. A little bit, yes, I suppose they do. Jane Howe to the Daleks. Prentice Hancock. Take him to the Daleks.
I must say it was very enjoyable indeed.
Yes, good.
Well, there we go. I had to stop it because it was about to play the next episode.
Yeah, we don't do that. We could just watch that. Well, wasn't that good? Oh, I suppose we'll invite Jamie and her son. Do you want to do any summing up of Planet of the Daleks Part 4? Episode 4, I should say. I keep wanting to put Episode 4 on the title, but my wife keeps changing it to Part 4. She doesn't understand.
Sum it up as in sum up our opinions of it, or sum up what happened?
Yeah, no, I think everyone knows what happened.
Oh, it was good. I love it. I mean, I've not really got any bad words to say about this. I just love it. Just love it. Easy as that, really.
Okay.
That bit though, with the head moving, has just blown my mind. Never noticed
what
that
was
before.
that? What's your favourite bit from that epised?
The head bobbing. No, I don't know. From that particular episode. It's a difficult one. I actually do love all of the Plane of Stone stuff. Actually, I like all that bit. Yeah, I do.
The Plane of Boredom.
I just quite like all those sort of exchanges and little moments there.
Nothing much going on here.
But when you actually think about it, apart from the Daleks, busting through the thing, going up the lift shaft, nothing else has really happened. So.
No.
Not a lot really one can particularly go on about. But I like all that bit there. How about yourself?
I have to go with the bits that I was most thrilled with as a kid, which is when you go to the Dalek control room. I mean, the head bobbing around, that's a new aspect.
That's crazy.
Of that. It's going like this.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something to do with... No, again, I can't work it out. I can't see any conceivable... Maybe it was something to do with the way the head was moving, or I don't know.
Very odd. But yeah, I love the bits with the Daleks standing around talking to each other. And I look forward in the next episode, whenever we watch that, of when they say, "We can never leave here! Never! Never!
Never!" Oh. The next episode is a much better one, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's this midway point, isn't it, really?
The midway hump.
Well, it's a sag, isn't it? It sags. Still, it's the best kind of sagging I've seen in a long time.
Well, quite. If full sags were like that, then I'd be sagging all day long. What have we become?
Saggers. I hope that isn't actually an awful slang for something really obscene.
Well, if it is, then I'm dreadfully...
Jamie Anderson's the person to look it up.
You probably know it already, let's be honest.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
I wish every time Jamie appeared, that bit of music from Power of the Dalek, from Planet of the Daleks popped up. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. This is us filling the time whilst we wait for Jamie to arrive. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Yeah, I thought quite.
Well, I'll see. Maybe he's on a phone call or something.
Yeah,
He's very
quite.
important and busy, you know.
Businessman.
Are you on a call or in the loo? Question mark.
Or both at the same time, which is possible.
Well, yes. I wouldn't recommend it, listeners. Ah, there he is.
Especially securing a good business deal.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Nick and Benji.
What's cooking?
Well, can you smell what the rock is cooking? Isn't that the line, Benji? Is that right?
That is the line. That is the line.
Thank you. Look at me all being all contemporary, and Nick
He
Briggs
knows,
looking
yeah.
confused.
Next thing, why do rocks talk?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll have my rock medium rare, thank you. I don't even know what it's from. Is it a wrestling
Jumanji?
thing? Or
It's a wrestling. It's a
All
wrestling thing from the
Yeah.
WWF.
There you
back in
go.
the olden days.
See, look at me go. Well, I can tell you rather excitingly.
I'm literally yawning. That wasn't a fake yawn either.
Yeah, thanks. Just had a delivery from a supermarket chain and just put it away in the fridge. Hence my slight delay in joining you.
Well, it seems like you obviously it must be. Do you have a specific day in which you do shopping? Because this is quite a common occurrence, isn't it?
Friday between 4 and 5 p.m. is the slot. And
Wow.
you will attest to this. They were early today because we're currently before 4 p.m. at the time of recording.
It is. It's 22.
Very good, very good.
So anyway, what are you doing? What have you been watching today?
Planet of the Daleks, Part 4.
Excellent. When do you hope to complete your entire run of Doctor Who commentaries on the Benji and Nick show? 2049?
Probably. That's the, seems to be the way we do
probably posthumously.
It's fine because by then you'll have an AI-driven Briggs bot that will just do it even better than actual Briggs did it. So
Yes, it'll just have a series of random nonsense phrases, pretty much like I already have.
in fact, how do we know that you're not the Briggs bot right now?
Yeah, son, that's a very good point.
I'm having a glitch.
He's a deep fake.
We were looking at deep fakes earlier, weren't we, Nick?
We were.
On that website, what was it? Personwhodoesnotexist.com.
That's really weird. Have you seen it?
No, that's
And
a
they're
great
all these
URL,
faces. And when you look at the faces, several of them you recognise. You know, I was convinced one of them had Meryl Streep's eyes.
Yeah, this person does
back.
not exist.com. That's the one.
This person doesn't exist.
When you go on, it just shows a picture of somebody who's not actually real. It's terrifying.
Do you want to have a look at it?
Do you want me to do it right now?
Yeah, this person doesn't exist.com.
This person does not. Oh gosh,
Does not.
Chrome suggested it immediately. Oh yes, right.
And they're not real people, but they look like real people.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Benji's got a selection of beverages? He's just necking the orange squash.
Need a bit
Or cordial, if you're a little more refined. Oh,
There we go.
it's weird because is that cherry Coca-Cola?
No.
Oh, wow.
It's Cherry Pepsi Max.
God, where'd you get that? That's
all
not something I see hanging around.
Or do you know what you can also get, Benji? I mean, that's widely available, but there are others. There's raspberry Pepsi Max.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It is really good. It's always sold out when I try and get it.
Do you remember that Cherry Coke used to have its own logo? Like, it had its own specific look, didn't it? And I've completely forgot about this for years.
You're absolutely right. I'm just looking at Briggs' response to this. Yeah, so not a fan. Okay, fine. I do remember that. Yes. I mean, do you remember Virgin Cola? I used to love.
I used to love Virgin Cola, actually.
I remember the whole hype about it, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
Virgin
didn't,
on the ridiculous.
It basically just tasted like own brand Coca-Cola, let's be honest.
Yeah,
It
but
was
I quite-
Virgin's own brand.
A nice bottle, though. I think from memory.
That was terrific, yeah. That was a sad project that never fully took off.
Yes,
We have Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. I used to love Dr. Pepper.
So
Oh, the
misunderstood.
The last... Is that an advertising phrase? Yeah.
It's a song, isn't it? You know.
Are you a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola guy?
Pepper, so
So
misunderstood.
misunderstood.
Yeah, that's right. But of course, as you know, I've got a bit of a heart problem. The last time I had Coca-Cola, I was feeling really, really tired, and my wife said to me, "Oh, it won't hurt just to have a little bit of Coke." And I drank a whole bottle, a small bottle of Coca-Cola, and it was gorgeous. My God, I regretted that. Cut to an hour later and I'm on the floor with my heart pounding and I just think I'm dying and it's just horrific. So
just get Benji, good solution there. Just get decaf.
Yeah, could do that. And I said, I realised when I said it was just horrific, it could have sounded like it was just terrific.
I tend to just drink a lot of Coke Zero now because I can't really taste much of a difference in flavour.
Yes, yeah, I'm totally with you there. I mean, this has turned into a fascinating beverage-based conversation, which your listeners are going to love, I can tell.
Wow, yeah. I mean, what are your favourite beverages? Right into podcast@nicholasbriggs.com.
I remember years ago, this is the most boring thing ever, but I remember years ago that when I used to work in a call centre, and for some reason they had a Pepsi machine, but the Pepsi inside of it was US Pepsi.
What, useless? Oh, no, I see, yeah.
Ouch. So it was because the US one is made with corn syrup, isn't it? As opposed to...
Oh, that's right. And also has chlorine in it.
Probably does. But it tasted way better.
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup, yeah.
And ultraviolet light. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, what's my favourite drink?
Well, we all know what your favourite drink is.
That sounded very weirdly suggestive.
No, not at all. It's a cocktail called the Hammer of God.
Oh, that, yeah. Well, I don't have any of that at the moment.
Were you talking a soft drink?
I was talking about a soft drink.
Right.
I'm not an alcoholic.
Screwdriver of God. That's aggressive.
Yeah. If he comes at you with a screwdriver, you can more easily disarm him. What we like in this household is what we call, rather pathetically, a lemon fizzy wizzy, which is lemon squash and soda water. And it's called a fizzy wizzy because at some point either myself or my wife couldn't remember the words soda and water. And we used to have it with lime in those days. We have a lime fizzy wizzy. I couldn't remember, so now we just talk about lime and lemon and lime fizzy wizzies. Like fizzy wizzy is a completely grown up word, and of course we sound like we're doing that awful couple thing of talking like children, which I have to and Jamie will certainly know from staying here. We are certainly not that kind of couple, are we?
No, that would never happen.
That sounds like we are, and you're covering up.
No, literally, sorry, that would literally never happen.
Steph is like a grown-up, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we may have brought a little bit of puerile banter into your house short for a bit, and she gave it a look. Yes. Which brought that to a swift close.
Exactly. She's just she's a grown-up, whereas I'm a child.
You're an 8-year-old boy.
She's got 2 children to look after, my son and me. He's now older than me. He's 10.
There's nothing wrong with being a bit puerile.
Exactly. Have we ever mentioned how you described me to someone, Jamie? Someone said, "Oh, you work with Nick Briggs. I'm sure he's probably very serious and professional." And you said, "Well, imagine a 12-year-old boy who's had a little bit too much to drink, and that's how Nick Briggs behaves most of the time."
It's true.
Gosh, I'd forgotten I'd said that, but it does sound very accurate.
Well, it is accurate in terms of
everything.
Yeah, it is.
I'll drink to that.
Just looking through all the defunct brands now.
I've noticed
on a real rabbit hole.
Yeah, Benji's looking at the internet and not participating in this podcast.
I'm just looking at all the different things. Like Hubba Bubba did Coca-Cola.
Hubba Bubba.
Nintendo did some breakfast cereals.
Hubbly Bubblies. I remember Hubbly Bubblies on the Isle of Wight. I used to have those.
Hubbly Bubblies.
Yeah, it used to be a brand name for a soft drink. And the bottle used to have sort of lumps in it like it was made of bubbles.
Oh, very clever.
Oh, I could have just imagined that. I'll wake up in a minute and find that none of this is true.
You ever had Swerve?
Swerve?
Swerve? No. Yeah, just looking at all these. Arch Deluxe, what's that? That's a burger. And there's all these. Freezer Queen.
What did you call me?
There's no need to be rude. Well, now it's got defunct airlines like good old Dan Dare. I'm just reading a page, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just reading words.
But it's interesting, you know. It is interesting.
Did you want to talk about... Well, you keep saying that, and I'm not so sure it is. Have you got any idea what we should do next week?
Me?
Anyone?
I thought I was banned from making suggestions after
it'd just be amusing.
Eldorado.
Yeah, that's true. Benji, I was really talking to, but...
Yeah, rude.
I don't know. I mean, we've had Juliet Bravo recommended to us.
Do you want to watch the first episode of Juliet Bravo?
I think, why not, eh? Let's give the people what they want.
I don't think anyone wants that, do they? Oh, no, it was one person wanted that. Okay,
give the person what they want.
What they want. Okay, we're going to do the first episode of Juliet Bravo, where a man steals his daughter away, and there's a bit of a siege situation.
Ooh, it sounds very dramatic.
Yeah, well, it does sound dramatic, but it is Juliet Bravo. So having seen that episode, I can tell you that drama is not... it's television from another era that we sort of forget about, that kind of middle-of-the-roads 80s stuff, I think it is. Was it 80s or was it 70s? When did Juliet Bravo start?
It was 80s, wasn't it? Well, possibly, late 80s, 90s, wasn't it?
But it was very much 1970s style drama done in the 80s. Interesting. Okay.
I'm not sure whether this is more or less interesting than the Lemon Fizzy Wizzy story.
Yeah, we should absolutely ban the word interesting, shouldn't we? Because people only ever say it when something isn't interesting.
Mostly, yeah.
Don't you think that's true, Benji?
It's true. It is true, but you know what?
Is it interesting though?
People come here for the boring banter, and I think that's
the esoteric. Yes. Should we just get close to the microphone and put everyone out of our misery?
I suppose we should. Yes.
Don't forget to email in to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com. But from me, resting my nose on the pop shield, that's snorted right into the microphone, it's goodbye.
And from me, not resting my nose on the microphone, it's goodbye. That was Jamie going to the lavatory.
Pressing stop now, ka-chunk.